have been with us for parts 1 and 2, and some of you haven't. So I'll do a little review. How's that? Mini, super mini. The first evening, we discussed Radha Tattva, the truths in relationship with Radharani's existence in the spiritual realm, and then as she appears in this realm. Nothing new. There's the spiritual world that eternally exists. There's a nice verse from Sri Brahma Samhita. Goloka namni nijadamni tale chatasya Devi maheshu haridama suteshu teshu te prabhava vihitas govindamadi purusham amaham bhajami. Goloka is a planet, Swadami. Goloka Namni, Nija Damni. Nija Damni. It's his own Nija, it's his own abode. Goloka. By the name Goloka. Goloka Namni, Nija Damni. Tale. Cha. Tasya. That's his abode. Goloka. And then the person who's speaking this verse is Lord Brahma, and he's looking up. There's Devi Dham, Mahesh Dham, and Hari Dham. Devi Dham, that's where we are. And above Devi Dham, the abode of Mahesh, Lord Shiva. Above the abode of Lord Shiva, Hari Dham. Vaikuntha realm, the abode of Hari. And even above Haridham, Golokadam. And that's the place where Radha, Krishna eternally reside. And we heard the first evening, this is their mini review. You see what's on the screen. Who is Radha? There are many nice things to say about who is Radha. One nice thing of the many nice things is she is the Hladini Shakti, the bliss or joy or transcendental Ananda portion of Krishna's spiritual potency. It goes like this. There's material potency, which we're quite familiar with. There's the spiritual potency, which we're part of, but we're identifying with the material surroundings. But we're not of the material surroundings, we're of this marginal potency. Then above the marginal potency is the internal potency. So there's the three. External, marginal, internal. External, this place. Marginal, that's us living entities that are not of the material world, but we're identifying too much with it. And then there's it's spiritual or internal potency of Krishna. And the internal potency of Krishna, this is still on the Radha Tattva, little mini review. Radharani is part of, one feature of, one of the three aspects of Krishna's spiritual potency, or his Antaranga Shakti, his internal potency. One is his existential potency, Sat. There's his knowledge potency, Chit. And there's his pleasure potency, Ananda. That's Radha. She's the pleasure portion of Krishna's internal potency. And she's in his constant association. That's who she is. And the potent Krishna and the potency of Krishna, they're inseparable. One entity, like the sun and the sunshine. The shine is not the sun, but it's inseparable from the sun. You won't find sun anywhere without sunshine. You won't find sunshine anywhere without a sun. They're inseparable. So potent, or Shaktiman, the possessor of Shakti, and Shakti. The Ladini Shakti portion of Krishna's internal potency, that's who she is. And she is the feminine counterpart of the Absolute Truth. So wherever he is, she is. So we heard then the next on the list here is her appearance. And as we know, once in every day of Brahma, Krishna appears. And the day of Brahma is a really long time. A really long time. Really long time. Lots of zeros at the end of how many years long. And once in a day of Brahma, Krishna appears. And when Krishna appears, Radha appears. Because they're inseparable. So we heard the first evening, there are from different Puranas, or different authoritative sources, there are different descriptions of the different days of Brahma when Radha appears this way, Radha appears that way, and there's one very fascinating discussion on how Rupa Goswami describes Radha's appearance. Very fascinating. And we were supposed to have circulated a document that gave that information from Rupa Goswami's Lita Madhava. Fascinating discussion. So that's what we heard the first evening. And then the second evening, she's born, and she appeared in this world. And we took one of those five, and we heard her childhood pastime of how she was born not wanting to speak anything, not wanting to see anything, not wanting to hear anything except Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So she was born blind, deaf, and dumb. And then Narada Muni found out where she was. He found out how to have her speak and how to have her open her eyes and how to... She overcame that unwillingness to see, hear, or speak anything other than Krishna because he brought Narada arranged for Krishna to come. It was a nice description. And then she, as a little girl, she did little girl things. Pastimes. Because she is eternally Krishna's associate. But she was performing little childlike girl pastimes. And her childlike girl way, we heard yesterday evening some of those wonderful pastimes. Mainly pastimes with Krishna. And now we're going to number 3. This is part 3. The merciful pastimes. And we certainly know Radharani as the or the but mercy incarnation, but the most merciful. There's no one more merciful than Radharani. Most merciful. And one of the ways that we benefit from her mercy directly is the Mahamantra. You all know Mahamantra. We were just singing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So how many times is Radha's name mentioned in the Mahamantra? 8 times. There's 16 words. She gets half of them. Because Hare in Sanskrit is the vocative of Radha. Because one of names of Radha is Hara. And in the vocative, you want to call her Hare. Many of you have been to Vrindavan, and if you haven't been to Vrindavan, may you all be so fortunate as to go to Vrindavan sometime soon. While you're still alive, hopefully. Soon. Because who knows when the end is coming. So may you all go soon. And while in Vrindavan, you'll hear a sound vibration, 2-syllable sound vibration, all the time, here and there. Radhe, Radhe. So we say Hare, and they say Radhe. Same person. Radhe. Jai Radhe. And there's signs all over the place. In Hindi, Shri Radhe. I don't read Hindi, but I know what it means because it is everywhere. Shri Radhe. No, here it's graffiti, and there it's Shri Radhe. Everywhere. She gives devotional service. That's the primary mercy giving that Radha gives to everyone. And who's eligible? Anybody. We're going to hear 2 pastimes in Vrindavan where Radharani gives her mercy to a jackal. Really? We'll hear the nice pastime. Here's a verse from Naradiya Purana, speaking about Radharani. Krishna is speaking to Narada Muni. Krishna says to Narada Muni, "O Narada, Satyam Satyam Punak Satyam, Satyam Eva Puna Puna, Vina Radha Prasadena Mat Prasado Na Vidyate." I solemnly declare to you again and again and again that without the mercy, prasadena, without the mercy of Sri Radha, my mercy does not arise. You want to get the mercy of Krishna? Now you know how to get the mercy of Krishna. So now we're going to hear, when she appears in this world, she performs some pastimes where one of the principal characteristics of Radha, her mercifulness, is displayed. And there are 2 jackal pastimes, and one is in Vrindavan. This is a nice scene in Vrindavan. You see the scene, Krishna's up in a tree, the cowherd boys are down below playing in the river Jamuna, there's cows and there's calves, and it's Vrindavan. On one day, Radha and her Sakis were playing together near Suryakund. We're going to have one day, one section, dedicated just to Suryakund. Suryakund. The Kund, where Radha would go regularly, daily, to worship Suryadev. There's a wonderful place, the wonderful pastime that establishes, but here's a pastime at Suryakund, because she was there with her Sakis one day. And when they were walking together, in a distance, they heard a howling of a jackal. And you know, they're not puppy dogs. They may look like a dog, but they can be very dangerous. So one time, near Suryakund, some cowherd boys noticed a jackal, and they saw him, and he was howling, and they started chasing him and chasing him and chasing him, and he became fearful, and he ran and running for his life, and they lit a fire. The boys were chasing after him. Finally, the jackal dove into a hole in the ground. The boys set fire around the entrance to the hole. Boys can be mischievous, even in Vrindavan. And Radharani heard the howling of the jackal. And she asked Lalita, "Please find out, what's that noise?" So Lalita followed, Our system is, now it's booted again. Well done. She found the jackal in the hole that was howling, and she reached in the hole and picked the jackal up and brought the jackal to Radharani. knowing that Radharani is merciful. On the right there you see the cowherd boys. And then in the middle that's the jackal. And there's Lalita rescuing the jackal. And when she brought the jackal before Srimati Radharani, this is Surya Kund. There's the jackal, there's the Kund, and there's Radharani. And very mercifully, the jackal being saved and rescued by Radharani, the jackal intuitively understood. The jackal had tears in his eyes, and he fell at Radharani's feet and surrendered to Radharani. And Radharani said, "There shall be no more suffering for you from today. I will allow you into my pastimes as one of my gopis." Wow is right. There's a little teaching about Rupa Goswami. Some of you have been around for a while, and you know about Rupa Goswami. Some of you may not have been around for a while, and you may not know so much about Rupa Goswami. We'll tell you a little bit about Rupa Goswami, and then what this wow was about. It's a secondary rasa, adbhuta rasa. So Rupa Goswami was one of the principal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I think it's reasonably safe to assume you all know, at least in concept, who was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Krishna himself, who appears in the age just after Krishna departs in Dwapara Yuga. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself teaching how to surrender to Krishna. What's the concluding teaching, the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita? Those of you that know the verse will say it together. Sarva dharmam parityaja mam ekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. So the operative verse, the operative part of that verse, mam ekam sharanam. Mam ekam, singular. Take shelter of me alone. Sharanam, take shelter of me alone. And everything else will fall into place. Just this one thing, and all other things will be accomplished. One thing. What's that? Take shelter of Krishna. And that's the essence, teaching of the entire Bhagavad Gita. And after Krishna's departure, shortly after Krishna's departure, Kali Yuga begins. There's a little juncture, a sandhi, in between, and then Kali Yuga begins. And Kali Yuga, the sign of Kali Yuga beginning was when Maharaj Parikshit became the king, which was shortly after Krishna's departure. Maharaj Parikshit became the emperor of the world. And he was on tour, and he saw the sign of the age of Kali. The sign of the age of Kali was a Sudra man with a big club in his hand was breaking the legs of a bull. The legs of a bull symbolize, the four legs of the bull symbolize the four principles of Dharma. Four principles of Dharma. Four principles of Dharma, the legs upon which the bull, Dharma, the bull, stands. And when they're violated, when those limbs are broken, that's Kali Yuga. So this Sudra was smashing the legs of the bull. He didn't kill the bull. He was just smashing the legs of the bull so it couldn't stand. He was described in the Bhagavatam. And he was urinating on the ground because he was like in a trembling situation. He couldn't go anywhere, do anything. Maharaj Parikshit saw him and immediately drew his sword. In my kingdom, breaking the legs of a bull, you're finished. This is a punishable sin with life. Kill a bull or harm a bull like this, your punishment is death. So there was this, it's right in the Bhagavatam, there was this dialogue. The Sudra man surrendered to Maharaj Pariksit. Spare me, I take shelter of you. I'm member of your kingdom now, and you're to protect me, not kill me. So he was given a place to stay. There's a detail in the Bhagavatam. The one who violates the principles of Dharma, that's a sign of the age of Kali. And Lord Chaitanya came to teach how to overcome the perils of Kali by surrender to Krishna. But in the dark age of Kali, most people, just drive around a little bit and see what's going on out there. When to speak of breaking the legs of the bull, it's like the eating establishments and the drinking establishments, the intoxication, meat eating, gambling, and legal prostitution. People not abiding by any dharmic standards of man-woman interaction. It's prostitution. And it's just the name of the game. It's how things are in the age of Kali. So Lord Chaitanya gave this teaching of how to overcome the perils by how to take shelter of Krishna in such a dark age. That's who Lord Chaitanya was. Krishna himself teaching how to Mamekam Sharanam Braja, how to follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. And he didn't write books. He's Krishna. He didn't write books. He gave teachings and he asked his students to write books. One of those principal students was Rupa Goswami. And when you engage in surrendering to Krishna, it's called bhakti. So Rupa Goswami was trained in bhakti. And he wrote one of his books, was Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. Sindhu means ocean. Ocean of the nectar of devotion. Amrita Sindhu. Bhakti Rasa. An ocean that's not water or salt water, it's Bhakti Rasa ocean. An ocean of Bhakti Rasa. And that was his book. And in Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu, he indicates there are 5, I'm going to count them and say them slowly twice. 5 primary rasas: neutrality, servitorship, dasya rasa, sakya rasa, like Arjuna, parental rasa, vatsalya rasa, like Kunti or Mother Yashoda, or parental, and then conjugal. In Dwarka, his queens; in Vrindavan, the gopis, conjugal rasa. So here's the 5 again. Neutrality, shanta. Servitorship, dasya. Friendship, sakya. Parental affection, vatsalya rasa. And madhurya rasa. That's the 5. So he wrote a book on these 5, but the 5 have, they're primary, then they're secondary. There's 7 secondary rasas and mixtures of those rasas. And one of those mixtures of those rasas is Adbhuta rasa. We just had an Adbhuta experience. Radha transformed a jackal into one of her gopis, because she has the power. And she's merciful. And the jackal surrendered to her, so she accepted the jackal and transformed the jackal from a jackal body to a gopi body. From today, I will allow you into my pastimes as one of my gopis. Wow. That's Adbhuta rasa. And there's other situations where the merciful Radharani saved others, and one of those is very near to Govardhan Hill at the north. As you may know, Govardhan Hill is very long, and it's narrow, and it runs north and south. long, 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 long Govardhan Hill, which Krishna lifted when he was just 7 years old. So at the very top, you see a map. That's Radhakund Shamakund. And then some other lake that's over there to the right side and so forth. And way over on the left, on this map, there's a place called Shiva Pushkarani. Pushkarani means it's a small lake. Shiva Pushkarani. There's where it is on the map. And there's what it is today. There's Shiva Pushkarani. On the bank of this kund, it's called Shiva Kor, or Shiva Pushkarani, it's dedicated to Lord Shiva. Right there in Vrindavan, he is Rameshwara Mahadev. And he's the protector of the Dham in that particular area, Kshetrapal Shiva. He protects the northern part of Radhakund. The word Kora means holy place, so Shiva Kora. And Pushkarani means a lake. So there's the place. And at Shiva Pushkarani, or Shiva Kora, one day Radharani took compassion upon a jackal. There's the jackal howling. Jackals have this kind of markings on their back. And they look at you sometimes like, you better watch out. So, on another occasion, there was this howling sound of a jackal. And Radharani heard the howling sound of the jackal from Radhakund. And she sent Lalita, one of her dearmost gopi assistants, to go find out what happened. And the jackal was in danger and was very afraid. So the jackal was howling and howling and howling. And Lalita brought the jackal. The jackal fell at Lalita's feet, at Radharani's feet. Radharani picked up the female jackal in her arms. This is a nice illustration. O Jiva, because you had the good fortune to take birth in Krishna's land, your days of suffering are now over. My friend, Lalita, embraced you and brought you into her fold. Thus I accept you as my own. From now on, you will be my maidservant. So that's merciful Radharani. So what to speak of human beings from different positions? Human beings take shelter of Radharani, and she's most willing to accept and most capable. Here's a nice example of Radharani giving shelter to Raghunath Das Goswami. Now, for those of you that are a little on the newer side, I described something about Rupa Goswami, and Rupa Goswami is one of six Goswamis of Vrindavan. They were all dearmost associates of Lord Chaitanya, and very similar assignment. Go to Vrindavan, make Vrindavan your place of residence, and establish the glories of devotional service in Vrindavan, and re-excavate, because the places were lost, the places of Krishna's pastimes, which they did. And there are others who are assisting them and so forth. So here's a nice painting showing all six of them. In the center, there's the elder of these two brothers, Rupa and Sanatan. And then on the shorter side over there on the right, that's Raghunath Das Goswami, because he was very young in comparison to the others. Raghunath Das Goswami. The history of Raghunath Das Goswami is, a whole class should be dedicated to that topic, but he was, during his time, his father and his uncle were landholders in the kingdom that was about a third of India at that time, the northeastern part of India. They were the Majumdar family, like the Birla family or the Tata family. You know, they're super, 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 super wealthy family. And he was the only son, so he was due to inherit their wealth. But he had no attraction. There's details and details. He wanted instead just to be in Lord Chaitanya's association. So he somehow, with great difficulty, long history, he managed to make it to where Lord Chaitanya was in Jagannath Puri when he was a young man, married, etc., etc. He just had no attraction for wealth or women or nothing. Nothing. He took shelter of Lord Chaitanya, became a very intense mendicant. And among the things that he was intense about was his chanting. So one time when he was residing in Vrindavan, after Lord Chaitanya ended his pastimes, he went to Vrindavan. And there he took the association of Rupa and Sanatan, who were elder to him. And this is a painting depicting he, twice, Raghunath Das was by the side of the Radhakund. That's what the water is. And you see the lilies, the lotus flowers, and there's some little deer by the side. And he was so absorbed in chanting that one time 2 leopards came to drink water from Radhakund, and he didn't even notice. He was so immersed in chanting. But over there in the left side of the painting, that's Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami saw the whole thing. And Sanatan Goswami, when the leopards went away, he went and tapped Raghunath Das on the shoulder and said, "Do you know what just happened? Krishna had to protect you. Radharani had to protect you. Because the leopards were right by your side and you didn't even notice. And she shooed them away. You're lucky you're alive. Raghunath, you're so detached from this world. Can I just make this one request of you? Build a little bhajan kutir." And that's his elder. So Raghunath was so detached, he said, yes, yes, but didn't do it. Then another time, in this painting, there's a second pastime. There we see there's the sun, in midday sun in Vrindavan in the summer. It's like super hot. His skin was burning, literally burning. So Radharani came and held her upper garment to shade him from the sun. And she was standing there perspiring. And as she was perspiring, Sanatana Goswami saw the whole scene. And when the heat of midday sun went down, she disappeared. She pulled the shawl away and poof, she disappeared. And Sanatana Goswami saw the whole thing. So he went and said, "Raghunath, you're so renounced. You're now getting Radharani to serve you? What kind of renunciation is this? I command you, not just request you, build the bhajan kutir so that Radharani doesn't have to come and be your servant." And so it was done. So here's 2 other paintings of that same pastime, Radharani protecting him from the sun. In a moment I'm going to show you his bhajan kutir and also his samadhi. But it's by the side of Radhakund and Shamakund. He had a very nice little place. Or, during the heat of the winter, heat of the summer and the cold of the winter in Vrindavan, it gets extreme. He, Raghunath Das Goswami, was like Hanuman was to Ram, Raghunath Das Goswami was to Radharani. And you all know Hanuman, like Ram, 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 Ram. So he was Radha, Radha. He wrote 10 vows and put it in a little writing called Stavavali. And here's one of them. Even though I suffer in long separation from the divine couple, I shall not, even for a moment, leave the land of Vraja where Sri Radha Krishna eternally enjoy unparalleled transcendental pastimes, and I shall not, even if he himself, Krishna, invites me to go and see him, see the opulent king of the Yadus in Dwarka, I won't leave Vrindavan. However, if with my own ears I heard Radha has gone to Dwarka, where Lord Hari passionately embraces her to his chest with an excited heart, I would leave Vrajapuri and fly there faster than Garuda. He's not attached to the place, he's attached to Radha. And all these are vows, and he upheld his vows. He was very austere person. Whatever he had a vow, he lived accordingly. Here's a place, today's world. This is by the side of Radhakund, and on the building that you see, the dome up above, that's the Gopinath temple at Radhakund. And inside, on the right, that's where his samadhi is. So when you go to Vrindavan, most likely one of the places that you'll visit is Govardhan Hill. And most likely if you visit Govardhan Hill, you'll go to the northern end of Govardhan Hill, and you'll see Radhakund and Shamakund. And if you're very fortunate, you'll be with somebody who can show you where is the Gopinath temple and the Bhajan Kutir place of Raghunath Das Goswami. And here that's the Samadhi, a very unique structure, but that's the Samadhi of Raghunath Das Goswami, who received the merciful protection of Radharani twice. He who was completely attached to her. And it's similar, this is a different, one of the six Goswamis. I mentioned Rupa Goswami already. Here's a nice painting, and here's this is a very ancient painting. Here's the more modern version of the same painting. Here's the ancient painting. Here's the more modern version of that same painting. The same peacock that's right by Radharani's feet, too. Let's take a look. There's that peacock. So the location of this place is underneath a kadamba tree. There's a grove of kadamba trees. In between, there's a grove of kadamba trees. It's still standing, and it's in between where Radharani resided in Yavat and where Krishna resided in Nandagram. In between. So that's a place where Rupa Goswami made a quiet place, because this is, in Vrindavan during that period of time wasn't busy like it is today. It was very quiet. So he sat underneath this kadamba tree and he was composing his writings. Many writings, including this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and others. So while he was writing and writing and writing, he had this thought. When we sometimes have a thought, we get distracted. But, his thought was, it's my brother's birthday. And I'd like to give a gift to my brother on his birthday. But I'm a mendicant, I don't have anything. What can I give him? But I'd like to give him something. Wouldn't it be nice if I could make him some sweet rice on his birthday? It was just a thought. And sure enough, down the path came this young girl carrying ingredients for making sweet rice. And she came right up to this mendicant, Rupa Goswami, and said, "Here, this is a gift for you to make some sweet rice for your brother." And in her arms, there were these ingredients, all the things you need to make nice sweet rice: milk, sugar, rice, ghee, camphor, and saffron. That's 6 things. She was loaded up. And he looked at her and said, "Who are you?" And she said, I'm a village girl, and the ladies over there on the far away, they knew that it's your brother's birthday, and they knew that you'd want to make something nice for him, so they sent me with these ingredients, so you can make some nice sweet rice for your brother. So he said, thank you very much. That was very kind of you. And she turned, and she didn't just walk away, she just disappeared. So then he understood, wait a minute. This isn't just a village girl. This is the reciprocation of the personality of Godhead to fulfill a desire unto he who has nothing at all, because I'm a mendicant, to make a nice gift for my brother. So he made the sweet rice. And very near to where he was, I mentioned it already, I'll say it again. In one direction, that's where Radharani's residence was, in Yavat. In the other direction was Krishna's place of residence, Nandagram. So at the base of Nandagram, there was a little bhajan kutir place for Sanatana Goswami. And it's near there. There's our Dina Bandhu. Did he visit here in St. Louis? Dina Bandhu? No. Too bad. He toured in the U.S. and he came to a lot of places, but I guess he didn't make it here. So there he is. He's a Brijbasi. He's American Brijbasi. And, he speaks Hindi and he speaks the local dialect of Braj or Bridge, they call it. He's through and through, inside and outside. Brijbasi. So he's standing with his little walking cane in front of the entrance to Sanatana Goswami's Bhajan Kutir. So, but Rupa, after making the sweet rice, moseyed on to see his brother, to give him the sweet rice. And his brother accepted very graciously the sweet rice and started eating it, and it was ambrosia, it wasn't just sweet rice. And he asked his brother, where did you get this ingredient? And then Rupa Goswami, his brother, said, I was just desiring to make this gift for you, and one village girl came along, and immediately Sanatana Goswami put 2 and 2 together and came up with 4. This wasn't just a village girl, this was Radharani. And you're asking me to eat, to take service from Radharani? How horrible. I'm an offender, but the sweet rice is really good. And he ate the whole bowl of sweet rice. He gave some to Rupa also. So this is his place, his Bhajan Kutir, and right next to, you go through that gate, and this is what you find. See those 2 domes? Those are the domes above his Bhajan Kutir. Here's from the roof above the Bhajan Kutir. You can see the Bhajan Kutir. There's Dina Bandhu paying his obeisances in front of the Bhajan Kutir. And then there's the place where he sat. So there's this Bhajan Kutir place by Pavan Sarovar. Now what's Pavan Sarovar? Pavan Sarovar, Nandagram is up on a hill. And at the bottom of a hill is Pavan Sarovar. This lake where Nanda and Krishna would come every day and take their bath. And it's said that there was a Gopa, the father of Vishaka. Who is Vishaka? Radharani has 8 principal gopis, yes? 8 principal gopis. And among the 8, 2 are foremost. The 2, Lalita and Vishaka. Lalita and Vishaka. It's worth remembering those names, Lalita and Vishaka. So Vishaka had a father, his name was Pavan Gopa. And as a gift to Nanda, the king of the cowherds, he constructed, look at this lake, it's a fantastic place, for the king of the cowherds. So every day Krishna and Nanda would come down the hill and take their bath and the bath in Pavan Sarovar. And here's another photograph of the same Pavan Sarovar. So one day, Nanda Maharaj got a bright idea. He heard about the merit of taking bath in Prayag, in the confluence of the Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati River. It's called Triveni. You all know what the Triveni is. So he wanted to make a pilgrimage there. So one day he saw his mother, Yashoda, packing a lunch or a travel bag for Nanda. And so he asked her, when Dinabandhu tells this story, it's really funny. Those of you that have heard him, Mata, what are you doing? Yashoda, go play with your friends. Mata, what are you doing? I want to know what you're doing. You're my mother, please tell me what you're doing. I'm preparing lunch for your father. Mata, why are those little wrappers? And you know how little children can be persistent and details. And here's all the details of Nanda has a plan to make a pilgrimage to the Triveni on this very special occasion, and it's very auspicious to take bath in the Triveni on this particular day. And Nanda, the king of the cowherds, wants to go with a number of persons, and I'm preparing the meal for them to take with them. And so he goes down to see what Nanda Maharaj is up to, and Nanda Maharaj tells Gopal, his son, I changed my mind, I'm not going. And he said, Gopal said to Nanda, what changed your mind? He said, well, this morning when I came to take my bath, on the very day I was planning to go to the Triveni, I saw on the shore these celestial beings. And there were these kingly figures, and they were all assembled together and singing mantras very loudly. So I approached them with folded palms and asked, who are you? And this one said, I am Prayagraj. And this one said, I am this one and I am that one. And we all come here to take bath in the sacred place in Pavan Sarovar, because when people come to Triveni, they deposit all their sins. And we have to become free from our sins, so we come here to become free from our sins and take bath in the Pavan Sarovar. Ah, you come here to take bath to become free from your sins? I'm canceling my trip. And that's a nice Braja pastime that took place right here by the side. And it's one of the reasons why, because it's a place where Nanda and Krishna daily took their bath, because the waters became purified by their taking their bath. And there's a nice little painting of Rupa and Sanatan, and you can see in the background there's a dome of a large temple. That's the Madan Mohan temple, where Sanatan Goswami began worshipping his Madan Mohan deity. There's a whole story about Madan Mohan deity. And there's another description, because the topic is the mercy of Radha. And this is a little bit of a long narration. It's a little complicated. You're going to have to pay attention to catch all the details. There's so up here is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then the next generation, Rupa and Sanatan. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and the other Goswamis. But the next generation is their nephew or their brother's son, named Jiva Goswami. That's next in line in disciplic succession, Jiva Goswami. And Jiva Goswami trained thoroughly 3 very stalwart personalities, one of them Shyamananda Pandit. This is an old painting. Here is a more recent little line drawing. And there he's holding his mantra beads. Here's another painting. He was of dark complexion, Shyamananda Pandit. And we're going to hear a little bit about Shyamananda Pandit and how Shyamananda Pandit got Radharani's mercy directly. You ready? During the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it came a situation where he decided that he was going to take sannyas. At this age, he was just 24. Think of a young man, 24, ready to take sannyas. There's details and details. The first person he informed was Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda cried, "You can't. How can you do this?" And Lord Chaitanya was firm. And after Lord Nityananda got over the fact that Lord Chaitanya was going to take sannyas, then he was Nimai Pandit. He was a Brahmin boy, teacher, grammar teacher, Vyakarana teacher in Mayapur, in Navadvip. So he decided take sannyas, and one of the 5 persons he informed was Gauridas. It's a nice story. You see, there's deities of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So he informed Gauridas. Gauridas was older and had a particular relationship with Lord Chaitanya, and he told Lord Chaitanya, "You can't leave. If you take sannyas, you're going to leave, and if you leave, I'll die. So you can't leave. You can't take sannyas. Sorry." So Lord Chaitanya smiled and said, "You know what? I'll make a deity of myself. And you worship the deity of myself and Lord Nityananda, and when you see the deity, you'll see me, so everything will be nice." So that's what he did. He manifested these deities. And when he was ready to leave, Gauridas said, "Wait a minute. If the deity is you and you are the deity, then you stay. Let the deity go." Lord Chaitanya smiled, and the deity got off the altar and started heading for the gate. The place has it's one of these walled-in structures, and there's a gate, like a big opening in the wall, and that's the gate. So the deity started moving towards the gate, and Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda stood on the altar. And Gauridas shook his head and said, "Wait a minute. The deities can stay and you can go." And then this happened several times back and forth. And then he realized the deities are non-different. So it's a very nice pastime. And immediately, Gauridas began to cook. And he cooked for Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and the deities of Gaur-Nitai. And all 4 of them had nice prasadam. And gradually, he decided they can go. So off they went. And he began worshipping the deity of Gaur-Nitai very, very nicely. And he was a very good cook and very devoted Brahmin, Gauridas Pandit. He was a Brahmin. And in course of time, he, in Ambika Kalna, which is a place along the bank of the river Ganges, he initiated a devotee. He became a guru, a Diksha guru, and he named, believe it or not, he named the disciple Chaitanya Das. So Chaitanya Das's disciple living with Gauridas in Ambika Kalna, and one time the guru, Gauridas, had to go out of town, so he went out of town, and he left Chaitanya Das behind. So Chaitanya Das, on his own initiative, made a plan to honor the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya, the Gaur Purnima festival, and he invited people from all over in all directions to come, and was making arrangements for the big festival. When his guru came, "What have you done? You made all this arrangement without consulting me?" But it was for the benefit of Lord Chaitanya, and so he accepted. All right. But don't make this arrangement again without consulting. Yes. So Chaitanya Das was in charge. And when the day of the festival came, you go out the front gate. I've been to Ambika Kalna. You make a left, and you get into this big public square, and this giant tree, big shade tree in the public square, and there was kirtan. And the kirtan on Gaur Purnima was so ecstatic and tumultuous, and so many mridangas and kartals and devotees singing and dancing. The deities on the altar got off the altar and wanted to go join the kirtan. And Gauridas, being the personality that he was, personality type, he picked up a stick. He ordered them, get back on the altar. It's time for your midday offering. And they looked over their shoulder and they ran. And he's chasing them with a stick. Come back, get on the altar. It's time for your offering. And they ran and ran and ran. And as they ran, they entered into the heart. They disappeared in the heart of Chaitanya Das. So from that day, he was no longer Chaitanya Das, but he's Hridaya Chaitanya Das. Hridaya Chaitanya Das. And Hridaya Chaitanya Das, he in turn had a disciple. And his disciple, there's the painting of Hridaya Chaitanya is giving Diksha to a devotee named Krishnadas. But he was called Dukhi Krishnadas because he was always sad in separation from Lord Chaitanya. So there's the Guru, Hridaya Chaitanya, and his disciple Dukhi Krishnadas. And Dukhi Krishnadas in time realized this young man, my disciple, Dukhi Krishnadas, is a very qualified person. I'm going to send him to go study under Jiva Goswami in Vrindavan. So I told you have to listen carefully to the names. So Hridaya Chaitanya had a disciple named Dukhi Krishnadas. Dukhi Krishnadas was sent to study under Jiva Goswami. But Jiva Goswami already had two disciples. If you read Bengali, you can read what it says. Narottam Das Thakur and Srinivasacharya. No, Shyamananda. Srinivasacharya and Shyamananda. So there he is. He's taking shelter of Jiva Goswami in Vrindavan, and he becomes one of his, now not just two, but three students. So there he is, as a student of Jiva Goswami. And these three, one of them, as you see, is dressed in saffron. The other two are dressed in white because one of them remained, Narottam Das Thakur remained celibate his whole life. So he was a brahmachari and stayed brahmachari. The other two became married. Now Dukhi Krishnadas liked doing service. So he asked Jiva Goswami for some service. Student. He's a student, but he liked service also. So he gave him some service to do. And where the place, where the school was the Radha Damodar temple today, was in the area known as Sevakunj. Those of you that have been to Vrindavan, you know there's still a remaining place called Sevakunj, where the trees look like this, and they lock the place up at night because it says at night there's a rasa dance, and if you try to enter into the rasa dance, you're not qualified, you go mad. So they lock it up. So in this area, Jiva Goswami, gave Dukhi Krishnadas the service of cleaning a place for Radha Krishna's rasa dance. And he took it very seriously. So he had a broom, little handheld broom, and he made it nice for Radha and Krishna's pastimes. And one fine day, as he was cleaning, as he was cleaning, he found an ankle ornament. And the ankle ornament wasn't just a nice ankle ornament, it was effulgent. And when he picked up the effulgent ankle ornament, his whole body became completely ecstatic. And he understood, then he touched it to his forehead, and he understood his whole body erupted in ecstasy. So he understood this is not just an ordinary ankle ornament somebody lost. So he put it in a very safe place. And he carried on every day doing his duty of making the place for rasa dance very nice. One fine day, you see at the bottom left, there's this old Brijbasi lady. And she came to Dukhi Krishnadas saying, "Did you find an ankle ornament here?" And he said that he's finding the ankle ornament in the upper left. "Yes, I did, but who are you?" "I'm a Brijbasi lady, and one of our young girls, she lost her ankle ornament." And Dukhi Krishna said, "I want to meet her." And there was conversation back and forth. The elder Brijbasi lady understood this is not an ordinary person he wants. So she, the old lady, transformed herself into a young gopi. That's the lower right. And said, "I'll take you to meet the person who owns this ankle ornament." So she, Lalita, took Dukhi Krishnadas all the way to the spiritual world to meet Srimati Radharani. There's a painting on the wall that shows Dukhi Krishnadas became transformed into a gopi. I mean, if you can transform a jackal into a gopi, you can transform Dukhi Krishnadas into a gopi. And the ankle ornament was then given to Radharani. Radharani took the ankle ornament, very kindly accepted it, thank you very much, and she placed the ankle ornament on the forehead of this young gopi and said, "Your name is now Kanaka Manjari. You're my eternal associate. You have been given some service to engage yourself in my service, and you did so nicely. I've now brought you here." That with ankle ornament situation was to bring you here. So she, by placing the ankle ornament on the forehead of Kanaka Manjari, there was a mark made that was a little different than our normal tilak mark. Gaudiya Vaishnavas have a certain kind of vertical tilak mark. That's a little different than some others, a little different than some others, a little different than some others. That's okay. It's vertical tilak. But Radharani's was very special tilak mark. And so she said, Radharani said to Kanaka Manjari, "You can go back now to the earthly realm, recognizing that you are my eternal maidservant, Kanaka Manjari. But when you go back, you let people know that your name is now Shyamananda. And don't tell anybody what happened. Okay? Don't tell anybody what happened." I cannot tell anybody what happened. Because now you got a different tilak mark. So here are all these nice paintings. These are very old paintings. And so Dukhi Krishnadas now has two other names, Kanaka Manjari and Shyamananda. Shyamananda. And when he went back to Vrindavan, from Goloka Vrindavan to Vrindavan, the earthly realm, everyone noticed, you look a little different. He's in the male form now. So way back in Ambika Kalna, his Diksha Guru, who gave him the name Dukhi Krishnadas, heard that Jiva Goswami has given him another initiation and another name and another tilak. And that's a transgression of Vaishnava etiquette. So his guru consulted others, very senior Vaishnavas, and he decided, let's go and ask Jiva Goswami what happened. And confront him. So he did. And when he came to Vrindavan, it was a big scene. There he brought all of his disciples, and he sat Dukhi Krishnadas, now Shyamananda with different tilak, in front of him and said, first he asked Jiva Goswami, "Did you give him initiation?" He said, "No, I didn't give him initiation." And then where did he get this name and this tilak? Did you have to ask him? And so Here's this painting showing he asked his disciple, Dukhi Krishnadas, where'd you get this name? Where'd you get this tilak? What happened? And the reply was, Gauridas Pandit, the reply was, not Gauridas Pandit, huh? Hridai Chaitanya, thank you. I have short-term memory. Hridai Chaitanya, that's this sadhu on the right side, and there's his disciple, Dukhi Krishnadas, and all of his followers behind him. He said, I want to give you a proper answer, so I need some time. Okay, I want a proper answer. You have the time. Go ahead. So he went into a trance of meditation right in front of Hridai Chaitanya. And he went in his spiritual Kanaka Manjari form before Srimati Radharani, crying in this Kanaka Manjari form, and crying, and Radha asked what happened. And she said, this is what happened. And so Radharani said, you see the painting, that's Radharani on the left. That's Lalita, you can tell by she has this peacock-looking kind of dress, or sari. You tell them it happened in a dream. That's what you tell them. And by the way, here's a deity of Krishna. You can take this back with you to the earthly Vrindavan. So that deity, we'll see a photograph of that deity is available. So they went back, and she told her guru. He told his guru, Dukhi Krishnadas, now Shamananda, it happened in a dream. He said, very well, if it happened in a dream, then if I try to wash off your tilak, then it won't wash off, right? Right. He tried to wash off the tilak and it wouldn't wash off. So his guru accepted. Hridai Chaitanya accepted. It happened in a dream. Wasn't Jiva Goswami made a transgression. So things were nice. So he continued on in Jiva Goswami's school, and Hridai Chaitanya went back to his home place, Ambika Kalna, and they all lived happily ever after. So here's today the little shrine where the ankle ornament of Srimati Radharani was found. They made a little sitting place. And here's the deity of Shri Lala Lali. Lala Lali, nice name for deity. And here's a close-up of the Krishna form. So this is a little, this whole topic is Radharani exhibiting mercy. And one of the ones that she exhibited mercy to was Shamananda, then later became Shamananda Pandit. And one of the principal persons who carried forward the teachings of Lord Chaitanya after this super fantastic experience of receiving Radharani's direct mercy. And his name, Shamananda. But Kanaka Manjari in their spiritual form, Shamananda in his embodied form, and so he lived his life as Shamananda Pandit. And one of the principal associates that took the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and left, after leaving Vrindavan, spread it far and wide, particularly in the eastern half of India. Though all three of them, Narottam, Shamananda, and Srinivasacharya, great personalities. And that's a little history behind Radharani extending her mercy. There's many other nice narrations. When in the last two evenings, the first two evenings, we had discussions, and somebody asked, where can we get all these stories of Radharani and her mercy? And so there are a number of books that are written by our authorities, our acharyas, that narrate these pastimes. The jackal pastimes. Shivakura, when you make a visit to Vrindavan, they'll inundate you with, little handouts indicating the pastime of Radharani giving her mercy. But there are Gaudiya Vaishnava authorities, scholarly people, that have written these pastimes down, and they're books. And there are a number of them. There's a number on many nice pastimes, because we're going to spend a few more sessions on pastimes of Srimati Radharani in Vrindavan and different exchanges with Krishna. We'll hear some of them. Any comments or questions? Yes. You've been the first person to ask a question now 3 times in a row.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you. It was very, very nice class. We enjoyed today class. So I have a comment and a question. The comment is like, the jackal story. It was...
the first or the second?
The first.
Okay.
Where the Srimati Radharani was giving the blessing of jackal.
Yeah, she did it to both.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the one which is like not to have any suffering at all, end of the suffering. And then like the jackal was so fortunate to get 2 boons in one blessing. I was like, it is so nice to have to like that. Like end of suffering and at the same time to become a gopi.
Well, end of suffering means the suffering from a jackal body. Doesn't mean you get another body and you won't have suffering in the other body. Having a body and suffering. So the jackal got another body, but with the other body there's suffering. So no suffering like the lower species kind of suffering.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Maharaj. My question is, in this pastime where Shyamananda Prabhu went to Goloka Vrindavan and came back.
Yes, twice.
To Vrindavan. Twice. So I was thinking about the time, the lapse.
No problem, time. Don't worry about time.
So in this pastime it's not.
Eternal time doesn't know time as we know it. No problem.
Okay. The other one is just curious to know. So when the Guru was asking what happened, but it was asked to say
Hridaya Chaitanya, how did this happen?
Yeah, but it was asked to say it in a different answer, right? Not to say exactly what happened, but it was said it happened.
Yeah, how was he going to tell exactly what happened? Well, see, it went like this. I found this ankle ornament, and he didn't tell it exactly as it happened. He just said, as Radharani said to say, it happened in a dream.
Is there any? Just no specific reasons for
what?
That? No specific reason for that, like just.
You need a specific reason. Radharani gave him the answer, and
Okay.
he just spoke the answer.
Sure, Maharaj. Thank you.
Radharani knows best. Mother knows best.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Maharaj, I have a clarification on, you were talking about the 3 disciples of Hridaya Chaitanya,
Yes.
right? So you were mentioning
3 disciples of Jiva Goswami. 3 disciples of
That's
Jiva Goswami.
You mentioned the name of Srinivasacharya Maharaj.
Srinivasacharya is
So
one
they
of
are
the 3.
one among those 3
It's
disciples.
one of the 3.
Because I have heard the similar pastime of where Srinivasacharya goes to, he becomes, Radharani loses the anklet and Srinivas. Is that, am I confusing Maharaj?
The names didn't get mixed up.
So I've heard that pastime of Srinivasacharya going to look for Radharani's missing anklet.
No,
and
it's not Srinivasacharya. Shyamananda Pandit. I don't know what you heard.
Okay. So I
know who went to get the ankle ornament.
Okay, Maharaj. I'm just clarifying that.
And the answer is, I don't know of anything like this. No such thing. No such thing. This is standard katha amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Okay? So I can't explain how you heard what you heard.
So one is Srinivasacharya, and then
Narottam Das Thakur
okay, and he's the celibate.
and Shyamananda Pandit.
Okay, thank you.
Shanti. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Did Shyamananda Pandit had a vision of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He was there in the same time? Or?
I don't know of a vision of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I know about this.
Okay.
But the specific topic was the Radharani's mercy. The specific topic is Radharani and the merciful side or nature of Radharani. That's our topic. Now, whether he had an experience of darshan of Lord Chaitanya or not, I don't know. But if you want to do some research and come up with it before next couple of classes, you can share that with us. Okay? I'm unaware. Okay? Okay. Srimati Radharani ki Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol. So before coming here, I brought with me some Mahaprasadam from Kishore Kishori. So we'll distribute that Mahaprasadam. Hare Krishna.